This is the worst contestant I've ever seen. Just entered the jungle for a challenge. You start to get blisters all over your body, and it's spreading to other places. There's nothing doctors can do about it. It can only be suppressed with ointment. However, the effect is not very good. The skin feels like it's cracking. The only thing the doctor could do was put a shot in the butt. The reason he's so miserable, just because I touched this tree. Boy, does anyone know what this is? This challenge is on a desert island in Mexico. Dense jungle and a variety of predators. Most people just drop off food. It happens to be the rainy season. The mosquito army is becoming extremely active. Let's see who dares to challenge us. Brian was the first to enter. He loved hunting and fishing from a young age. I'm a retired veteran. That's a lot to know about wilderness survival. I even quit my job for this challenge. Put your heart and soul into it. Still, the rating is not as high as one might expect. I don't know how he's doing here. And Robin was in the army. A lot of survival training. She thought she was up to the challenge. A little worried about how your partner will affect you. They both have similar ratings. We can look forward to the performance of the Wulong and Phoenix chicks, even though Robin knows to be naked. But when you do it, it was kind of awkward. Brian, on the other hand, says he likes to be naked. This is the kind of party he's good at. Soon the two men headed to their destination to meet. He didn't think he was going to fail. I am confident that I can make it to the end of the challenge. The first time the two sides met, it was quite cordial. If you don't know it, you think you know it. After getting to know each other, jump right into the challenge. According to the map from the show crew, they'll head to the mangroves first and set up shelter in the swamp. The evacuation point is on the other side of the coast. Start by soaking in water, more or less worried about being attacked by sharks. It would have been quicker to just swim. Both sides have experience in military training. I know very well the importance of cooperation. Soon we'll be in the thick of vegetation. Walking speed, that's a big drop. It's really hard to walk on it with bare feet. I feel like I could fall into it at any moment. Mosquitoes are also a big problem. Put your foot in it every time. Afraid of something popping up and biting you. Robin found out there were diesel trees. The juices on this side can cause skin burns. Touching your eyes can blind you instantly. They were no longer laughing as they had been when they first arrived. It took a lot of work to get to a better view. This swamp is not suitable for camping. Now I'm getting annoyed by the bugs. Robin suggested that we check out the beach. The biggest worry is running into a snake on the road. One bite, and it's all over. Brian could only move slowly and carefully. I don't know how long it took to see the beach. It might feel better to set up a shelter here. Now is not the time to relax. There were many traces of animals on the beach. Looks like a big cat. We have to find a better place to send it, or we get attacked in the night, and it's all over. I've been driving around, and I finally found a nice place. They don't have much time to build shelters while looking for materials to gather, while we see what food we can eat. Fortunately, we have coconuts in the first place. Brian wasted no time building a fire. Fire and coconut on the first night is good enough. Only the nocturnal animals become active. The roar frightened them from falling asleep. Afraid to rush out the next second and take a bite. Can only constantly observe the surrounding environment. I couldn't sleep all night. You don't know how you made it to dawn. Almost got attacked by a big cat last night. The shelter must be built today. I can't say it's 100% defensible, but at least there's a time to react. It was quite thirsty after a busy day. There is no fresh water to drink nearby. We have to draw water deep in the swamp. It smells like hell in here. I hate walking on it myself. Too bad this is all we have to drink right now. After boiling at a constant high temperature, Brian swallowed hard and took a sip. It smells like a sewer. I feel better with some coconut water. Robin suddenly realized that it was a diesel tree. Maybe there's nothing going on right now. When it rains, it's all over. The rain will mix with the SAP and run onto the body. That's when the skin gets hurt. There's a little black hole on Brian's hand. Robin's hanging heart is still dead. He began to feel pain. This cannot be washed away with water. If it is not handled well, it may even cause infection. The doctor came to check it out just to be safe. You're about to be forced out so soon. For now, the doctors can only take care of it. Brian's skin was already blistering. The doctors are worried that things will get worse. If these ointments don't work, I'm going to have to put Brian in the hospital. It was the first time he had ever encountered such a situation. I don't know if my body can hold up. Just try to stay away from that tree right now. The shelter still needs to be built. You have to see better when you cut down trees these days. If you get the juice in your eye, it's all over. It took a while to fix. It's just big enough for 2 people to lie in. I hope everything goes well after that. Day 3 of the challenge. For the time being, it's mostly coconuts. Robin felt the sun was getting stronger. The skin has been sunburned. Maybe we can protect it with a coconut. Brian thinks he's a real genius. At night, they could not sleep at all. Brian's wound was starting to ache again. The environment here is really bad enough. It was hard to wait until dawn. Brian was so emaciated. There's no sign of improvement here. It even started creeping up the leg. I feel like I'm on fire all the time. I could even smell the meat. If we keep going like this, we're gonna rot. Just to be on the safe side, let the doctor take a look. It's no use applying the ointment now. Just 2 shots to see how it goes. If you have a headache and a fever. The show had no choice but to force him to withdraw. Does anyone think Brian has a chance to finish the challenge? He didn't realize how much damage a tree could do. I'd cut this tree down if I could. Seeing her partner like this, Robin's mood is very low. The challenge is on its 5th day. It's hard to get better on coconut alone. Got to get something to eat somehow. Robin was going to get a dress to wear. But getting food is more important now. The leaves are to be rewoven into a fish basket. Brian didn't want to wait. He has to actively look for food. Crabs like to get into the crevices in the rocks. I'm just taking my chances right now. Robin has finished the fish basket. I hope it works in water. The best thing is for everyone to get food. At night, Brian's skin felt like it was going to explode. I can't even squint my eyes. The challenge continues on the 7th day. Brian's condition is getting worse and worse. It hurts like hell to even touch it now. There were blisters all over the body. It's no use calling a doctor. It's a normal reaction. You have to deal with it. Brian can't do anything. Robin will do all the work. The body that is becoming more tired. It's only a matter of time before you break yourself. We need to keep upgrading the shelter. Brian didn't want to put everything on her shoulders. You can also make an effort to help the team. Now the mood that is a breakdown. He knew the challenge was going to fail. I'm a serious drag on Robin. If she's the only one, maybe things will go a little more smoothly. And now Brian can only roar in front of the camera. The mood is getting worse. He wondered whether he should give up the challenge. Staying alone is not an option. Robin checking on Brian okay. Although it's hard to know about the allergic reaction. But I didn't think I'd do this to Brian. Robin kept encouraging his partner. If we give up the challenge, all that effort would have been for nothing. I hope Brian thinks about it. I'm sure you'll feel better after these few days. At least we'll get through the day. If tomorrow the body is really unbearable, Robin will personally drop his partner off the challenge. The team atmosphere was becoming more and more silent. Robin had access to the video before. They say there's a cure within 5 steps. She wanted to find something to make Brian feel better. However, walking in the swamp is not easy. What if something happened to her? Things are getting worse for Brian. Fortunately, it was found near the camp. Robin wasn't sure if that was the case. Just let Brian try. Things can't get any worse than they already are. I have to say that watching videos still works. I do feel better after applying it. Why don't we just stay another day and see? The challenge continued on the 8th day. Brian felt much better in his skin. It feels like Robin's been doing so much these past few days. Although there was no allergic reaction. But my stomach is really hungry. Going on like this is not an option. The best thing is to find some meat to eat. I am confident that I can complete the challenge with Robin. It's been 8 days. It would be a shame to quit the challenge now. The two felt that the challenge was not easy. Without the plans Robin brought back. I'm afraid Brian's going home today. Robin's just not in a good place mentally. The pressure's been on her lately. I'm very sorry about that. Now, they don't really want to work. Just want to be quiet and enjoy the peace. I wonder what's going on with the fishers. If only we could get a fish or two. Too bad there's nothing in there. Robin doesn't think this place is a dork at all. It's impossible to sleep at night. The big cats nearby seem to be approaching the shelter. So scared they had to shine a light on it, hoping to scare the animals away. Luckily, before the sun came up, there was no accident. Just looking into the distance is not very good. It is expected to rain heavily soon. Brian was in a pretty bad mood. The rain is worse than expected. The shelter is leaking in all over the place. The body was shivering with cold. The only good news is that the fire didn't go out. I just kept shaking. It's questionable whether we'll make it to dawn. The rain lasted for a long time. It was a little better on the 11th day. There is little firewood left. Can only lie in the shelter and wait. No chance to go out and forage for food. The rain began to liven up again during the night. Robin is too weak on this side. By the 13th day, the storm that was getting fiercer and fiercer. It's just not a place for people. The worst part is there's little firewood left. If we don't collect firewood, it's going to be a really rough night. Robin is a complete wreck. Brian couldn't encourage anything. He knew it was time for him to step up, take care of Robin, and finish the challenge together. The temperature at night was quite low. The rain kept coming in. Surprisingly, the wind blew the shelter down. Now we have to rebuild it in the rain. Things are getting really bad. There's no way the fire's going to burn. They don't even know how they made it to dawn. The whole person was so weak. There was no way Robin could hold on. She just wants to get home and rest. Brian isn't any better, is he? My toes were so cold that I couldn't feel them. They're both getting colder and colder. If we continue like this, our lives will be in danger sooner or later. It's impossible to build a fire in this weather. There is still a long way to go before the challenge is over. It can't go on like this. The show had to have someone check it out. 2 people showed symptoms of hypothermia. They have no way to warm up. Only space blankets are available to keep the temperature up. The doctors felt they couldn't continue the challenge. Need to get to a hospital right away. Brian and Robin knew their bodies had reached their limits. There is no need to keep going. So the two decided to give up the challenge and go back together. They were also the first team to give up altogether. Obviously, it didn't get off to a good start. Brian's skin injury affected the team's collection of materials. Later, it was hit by heavy rain. They have lost a lot of weight since they arrived. This is a really good place to lose weight. 2 people score that's down quite a bit. I don't know if I'd do it again. Let's wait and see. Anyone who eats stingrays knows that. It's not easy to catch one this big. Just pick up the knife and cook the meat. You don't need anything to spice it up. Put the meat on the rack to smoke. Don't worry about anything. Just drop down and go to sleep. When you wake up to the smell of meat, you can get the barbecue without a hitch. This is definitely better than a chicken leg in your hand. I wonder what the hell that smell is. Where can I get some? This is Anka's second challenge. The performance before that was pretty bad. Let's hope that changes this time. Try to complete the challenge with your partner. And Jason is a wilderness survival enthusiast. I spent most of my time in the wild. Show me what you got on camera. How hard is it to starve? He is confident that he can eat and drink well here. What do you think of this combination? Rather than meeting naked, Anka is more worried about her partner recognizing her. After all, the last challenge was so bad. There's no use being nervous now. Try to do your best in the challenge. Actually, Jason already knew who his partner was. He wants Anka to change. Soon the two met smoothly. The communication went well. Anka admitted that she had not behaved well. But this one will prove itself. Last time I left because I was bitten by mosquitoes. I don't know if she can handle it now. Except for the machete and the beater. Anka brought potassium permanganate on purpose. It can disinfect and help burn. It's still a good choice. Next, I have to find a place to build shelter. This is the Salama jungle. The river is full of crocodiles and piranhas. Even now, the rainy season is almost over. But the weather is still extreme. The body could collapse at any moment. Jason did his research before he got here. Kind of like where we used to be. He is confident he can adapt to the environment. It's just that there are a lot of thorns on this side. That foot feels like it's going to be punctured. Now we have to speed up to the river. It would feel so much better to build a shelter here. Anyone who's lived in the wild knows that. Areas near water are particularly infested with mosquitoes. I don't know if Anka can get over it. After a brief discussion between the two, use bamboo to build shelter quickly. Jason tried to bring a bucket of water. A little curious, how does this little black powder go in there? Anka sees no problem at all. Jason took a sip. It doesn't taste very good. Anka said it would be nice to drink it. Then I've been busy perfecting the shelter. It took a lot of time to fix. Now sit by the fire and rest. I don't know if it's the little black powder. Anka's eyes felt terrible. The next day came in a daze. She doesn't feel any better. There's a fire burning your eyes. Jason was worried she was going to quit the challenge and go home again. I just gave up after one accident. What does Anka say to stick with it this time? I just want to prove myself. The best thing we can do now is call a doctor. But Anka refused the show's help. I hope I can recover on my own. Jason knew he couldn't talk her out of it. They had to look for food in the water. Either way, there's nothing wrong with eating okay. There's plenty to eat in these waters. It's up to Jason to see if he can do it. He's here quietly waiting for his prey above. Anka remained very uneasy. She was afraid she would pull out of the challenge again. Jason could feel something swimming by, but the water is so cloudy. They can take you by surprise if you're not careful. Going on like this is not an option. Keep your weapons on alert and be ready to strike back. However, the effect is not very good. All the hustle and bustle and nothing. I almost got stung. Anka's eyes didn't get better. Willpower alone won't last long. Jason suggested it might be better to see a doctor. Unfortunately, Anka can be stubborn, trying to stay in the shelter. It's impossible to sleep at night. And so the challenge continued for the third day. Anka's situation is a little better. It doesn't sting like it did before. This place is not very good. If it rains for days on end, the shelter is going to be flooded. The best thing is to find a new place to build shelter. These are lessons learned from Anka's previous challenges. Jason didn't really want to waste his energy. We can wait until it rains. There is absolutely no need to start building now. The point is the rainy season just ended. I don't believe the river will wash people away here. Jason just wants to get food fast. It's hard to make it to the end of the challenge. Anka is going to be in this clean place. Set up a backup shelter. Even if there was a real flood, there'd be a place to sleep. Some might say it's a waste of time, but it's necessary. You can't wait for a problem to come up. Jason's been out there watching the water, hoping to see the fish coming. Anka doesn't expect her partner to help. She could have built it herself. After a period of busy, Jason didn't get anything. Instead, it makes your body tired. Everybody's in a bad mood at night, okay. It feels like it's getting weaker. Plus, the mosquitoes are constantly biting. Both found it difficult to lie down and rest. I want to scratch the skin. I barely made it to dawn. Things aren't getting any better for Anka, are they? Instead, I feel my skin getting itchy. You're gonna get allergic if you keep going like this. It'd be nice to get something to relieve it. She didn't want to quit the challenge again because of the bugs. By willpower, try not to touch your skin. There is no telling how long this will last. Jason's side is a little better, but the situation is not very optimistic. Now I don't know what to do. You don't want your partner to just quit the challenge. Now the two of them are very silent. The atmosphere that was getting worse and worse. Turns out this jungle isn't easy. Jason really wants to burn this place down. Anka clutches her skin from morning till night. Fortunately, she has adapted. Not as bad as before. I can take the pressure off Jason myself. The only food we can find so far is small crabs. These are the kind of things you'd really hate. The belly is getting louder and louder. The next thing to focus on is finding food. And Anka still wants to get the shelter done. She thinks it's kind of necessary. Jason's been looking for the stingray. It's the only way to feed both of them. We're not building shelters these days. To find food to eat. Before you know it, the 12th day has come. I haven't eaten enough since I've been here. I thought they were going to keep starving. I didn't expect the frog to deliver. Too bad Jason didn't catch it. Belly was there all night protesting. Jason is hungry and sick. I didn't think the challenge would be this hard. No longer in the mood to go out. Anka also don't know how to comfort good. Only to be thrown back into building shelters. Jason didn't understand that very well. I hope it's not a waste of energy. Having rested, he plunged back into catching fish. I wonder, is there no food in the jungle? Why are you looking for the stingray? I'm almost done with Anka. All we need is a roof to keep out the rain. Jason is totally fucked up, since the partner would rather build the shelter. I don't want to hunt together. Then there is no need to work hard. Anka doesn't think he's in the right shape. It's all about the team. The relationship between the two is going from bad to worse. I don't think we'll make it to the end of the day. Nighttime communication is especially bad. Jason can't stand Anka's sanctuary anymore. It's a complete waste of energy. Now it's all about food. What does it matter how good the shelter is? I'm not going to faint on the floor. Anka was coughing speechless. Thus came the 15th day. Now the scene is too heavy. No one wants to talk to anyone after a quarrel. Only a few days to go home. Anka doesn't want to be embarrassed forever. You have to take the initiative to make up with your partner. We're all adults now. You can't be grumpy like a child. The most important thing, of course, is food. Everything is fine as long as there's food. Jason invites Anka to join him in the hunt for the stingray. He's had it a few times before. Now with the help of a partner. There's no way the stingray can get out of here. They were not walking very fast. First determine where the stingray is located. The deeper you go, the murkier it gets. There wasn't much they could see, but we can hunt together without fighting. Jason thought it was okay. Anka suddenly saw something. Jason immediately slowed down and approached. On closer inspection, it was the stingray. I'm sure there's enough food for two if we can hold on to it. Jason took the spear and drove it straight through. Anka immediately came to help. It's bigger than I thought. Jason found the challenge too daunting. Now is not the time to relax. Let's get rid of this stingray while we can. Anka sets up the grill and waits for the meat to arrive. And Jason had no experience dealing with it. The viscera can only be removed by feeling. Then try to cut the meat off and roast it. That's a lot of it, enough to feed them for days. It just takes a little longer to smoke. The two of them were waiting there with drool. The meat on the surface is ready to eat. Smells a little like chicken. The taste is really quite good. I feel like I'm coming back to life. As long as nothing happens in the next few days, they should be able to successfully complete the challenge. They ate from day to night. After filling their stomachs, there was nothing to complain about. Jason wanted it to be close to the end of the day. I want to go home and eat. Day 16 of the challenge. The stingray meat has been smoked all day. Now you can put the meat in your mouth. Eat as much as you can to get well. Anka feels too happy now. When you're full, you can lie down and rest. You don't have to worry about going hungry. Before you know it, the 19th day has come. The sky felt as if it were going to rain. What Anka feared was about to happen. It's raining harder and harder. You can't even take the meat with you. It's a good thing she set up a temporary shelter. We can still make it through the night. The flood was worse than expected. The shelter down there is definitely uninhabitable. We'll see if it lasts till the day of the evacuation. Jason admits he was a little loud earlier. I'm glad there's a shelter to rest in. Or I'd have to rebuild in the rain. After all, Anka built it all by herself. The roof is still leaking in quite a few places. The water level hasn't risen much. Soon said it was returned. Do you know what's going on at the beach? There's not much they can do right now. Just sit quietly and wait for the sun to shine. But the rain fell harder and harder during the night. It doesn't stop until dawn. It lasted until the afternoon before getting better. Let's hope the water level drops when we evacuate tomorrow. I wonder if Jason's prayers helped. We'll finally be able to get down on evacuation day. Too bad the meet was all ruined. Anyway, why don't we get the raft together and get out? The answer is to get out of here and go home. Next, they will follow the river. Hopefully the raft will protect the body. But it's a 5-kilometer journey. There are plenty of crocodiles on the way. It's really not something that ordinary people can experience. The deeper you go, the deeper the water gets. Anka can't even touch the ground, can only swim faster. After hours of walking, we're finally near the extraction point. Two bodies that are tired cannot. The last part of the road that's walking wounded. There's only 2 kilometers to go. They walked for hours before they arrived. Saw someone waving at them. At that moment was able to breathe a sigh of relief. Anka proved himself. She felt she could take on the challenge again. It's really great, although there were some problems with each other. But we can finish the challenge together. The mood is so good. I wonder who else is coming next. Let's wait and see.